Right now on News 13, Florence leaders are working to build public trust over its use of flock cameras. Count on a live report. Plus, a look at the life and legacy of country music icon Dolly Parton.
Coverage you can count on at 6 starts now.
News 13 is your local election headquarters, and a local political science professor is weighing in on South Carolina's Republican U.S. Senate race now that voters have chosen their nominee. Thanks for joining us at 6. I'm Adriana Lawrence. Interim Senator Darlene Graham, the sister of late Senator Lindsey Graham, defeated Congressman Ralph Norman in yesterday's runoff. News 13's Morgan Baker is live in the newsroom. And Morgan, you spoke with a political science professor at Francis Marion University about what helped Graham come out on top.
Adriana, I spoke with Dr. David White, who says President Trump coming down to campaign for Darlene Graham played a pivotal role in securing her win. Interim Senator Graham defeated 5th District Congressman Ralph Norman by about 5 percentage points in Tuesday's runoff election. Norman won the majority in the western upstate, the area he currently represents in Congress, but White says that support wasn't nearly enough to beat Graham.
Her campaign, outspent Norman by, several times. I think it was 2 million in ads for him, 7 million for her. I think the other thing working against Ralph Norman is that he had endorsed Nikki Haley when she ran for president, and Donald Trump has a very long memory.
Trump endorsed Graham early in the race and took it a step further by campaigning alongside her right here in Myrtle Beach last week. Graham also had the endorsement of 7th District Congressman Russell Fry, who won the Grand Strand in the initial state GOP Senate election. Results show for the runoff election, nearly 74% of voters in Horry County voted for Graham.
The combination of the Donald Trump endorsement and the Russell Fry endorsement, I mean, she owes Russell Fry and Donald Trump a lot. She wouldn't have won without them.
While Graham has the support of big Republican names, questions about her political experience have surfaced during her campaign, as she's never previously held elected office and admitted during a debate that foreign policy is not her thing.
I didn't see the debate. I actually didn't watch it. But what's interesting is that that's all I heard about the next day was that gaffe, right? That the one mistake it seems like she made out of what I presume was a 50 to 60 minute debate. And she still overcame that with the help of Donald Trump. So she has a couple months to prove them wrong.
Graham will now face Democratic nominee Dr. Annie Andrews in November as she looks to keep the Senate seat in Republican hands. Live in the newsroom, Morgan Baker, News 13.
Morgan, thank you. The Robeson County Sheriff's Office wants your help to find this man. Jeremy Bullard is wanted on a murder charge in connection with the death of William Bullard. Authorities say the 65-year-old was shot and killed shortly before 5 Sunday afternoon on Oxidine Road just west of Pembroke. Anyone with information on Bullard is asked to call the Robeson County Sheriff's Office. And you can take a longer look at this picture at WBTW.com. The Florence County Sheriff's Office arrested a man accused of stealing $80,000 worth of equipment from Duke Energy. Charles McGee Jr. faces grand larceny and burglary charges. Authorities say over the past 2 weeks, McGee stole copper wire, a boat, batteries, and other items. Deputies found the stolen property on North Tobin Drive in the Florence area. At last check, McGee is in jail awaiting a bond hearing. Well, we've told you about local and national concerns over flock cameras. Now, Florence city leaders are looking at ways to limit their use and be transparent with the public. News 13's Eric Cooper is live tonight in Florence. And Eric, you spoke with city leaders about their plans to help address those concerns.
Adriana, that's correct. City Manager Scotty Davis says that they have not had any issues with abuse of the technology, but they wanted to be proactive and have a plan in place.
We haven't had any concerns about individuals in our police department misusing flock cameras. If that occurs, we certainly will be aggressive in removing those individuals from the City of Florence Police Department.
City Manager Scotty Davis says the use of any of the city's 60 flock cameras would be limited.
We're not allowing flock cameras to be used throughout the country. We're only giving that information when requested to those jurisdictions that are in South Carolina. And we will hold them accountable as well, that they must have an active case there and to access the City of Florence flock cameras.
The city's new plan limits access to only higher-ranking officers who would have unique access codes. They would also have to give a reason for logging in and a case number associated with why the data is being used. The city is also looking for the community to help by asking those interested to join a technology advisory committee to help maintain transparency.
The individuals will be chosen by the police department. There will be an interview session with them, and they will choose those individuals to work on there. We want to have a diverse group. We certainly would like to have people that have some background in technology. It's not necessary, but we will have a diverse group of individuals.
Cherie Hall works in Florence and says living overseas, she has seen how the crime rate has lowered because of the use of the cameras.
It's beneficial for all, I believe. So having it is not an invasion of privacy, because there's things that happen that nobody sees and wish they would have seen. Whereas if we have it now, it's fine. So having somebody or a committee that actually speaks for the people also helps too. So you can have your concerns brought to them, they can bring it up to the higher power, and vice versa.
Now, the city has already started to accept applications for the committee. The deadline to get your application is September the 4th. You can find a link to apply to that at WBTW.com. Reporting live in Florence, Eric Cooper, News 13.
Eric, thank you. Well, Netflix released a documentary series on former Myrtle Beach pastor John Paul Miller and the death of his wife, Micah. Miller pled not guilty in January to federal charges of cyberstalking and lying to police following the death of his estranged wife, who died by suicide in 2024. He was indicted in December of last year and arraigned earlier this year. News 13 has closely followed this story since Micah's death, and some of our reporting is included in the docuseries. Well, fans around the world are mourning the loss of country music legend Dolly Parton. In addition to being a successful singer-songwriter, Parton was also a businesswoman and philanthropist. News 13's Livy Payne joins us now in studio to talk about the legacy Dolly leaves behind. Livy.
For generations, Dolly Parton was more than a country music star. Through her music, personality, and generosity, she built a connection that went far beyond the stage.
Her connection with the Grand Strand started in the early 90s when her dinner attraction, the Dixie Stampede, opened. It later reopened as Pirate's Voyage in 2011. She is seen here talking to News 13's Rusty Ray. Her influence has also lived on through performers like Karen Hester, who has been portraying the country music legend since 2011. The performer says portraying Dolly was something that God put in her lap.
One is sharing her love and her light. She was such a beautiful person, and she just loved everyone. And she wasn't a person that judged anyone for anything. And I love that about her. She was a woman of strong faith. And that's something else that I think her and I have in common.
Hester says the ability to connect with people after shows and hearing how Dolly has impacted her fans is one of her favorite things. For the performer, the loss of Parton brings many different emotions.
Just thinking about it stirs up a lot of emotion, because the shows are going to feel very different now. And even more so now than before. I want to be sure that I honor her legacy in a way that she would be honored and proud of.
Hester says Dolly left a lasting impact on her fans, making people feel seen, welcomed, and connected through her music.
And we all feel like family, because Dolly always wanted us to feel like we were a part of her family. She was always true to who she was. You never had to question who Dolly was on stage or off stage. She was the same. And I think that's why people loved her so much, because she was so true to who she was. So we all feel that loss as if it's like a family member.
Hester says Dolly fans will be coming together as a family to mourn and celebrate her life. Back to you.
Livy, thank you. Another loss in the entertainment world, actor and singer Tim Curry died yesterday at 80 years old. Best known for his role in the Rocky Horror Picture Show, Curry starred in a number of other films, including Legend, Clue, Home Alone 2, and It. He also earned 3 Tony nominations and lent his voice to a number of animated films and TV shows. A cause of death was not released, but Curry suffered a stroke back in 2012 that put him in a wheelchair. Next on News 13, we'll break down the settlement between Meta and nearly every state in the nation, including how much money North and South Carolina may receive. And Krista has your most accurate forecast when News 13's local coverage you can count on continues.